Welcome back. The organization You Gotta Believe is on a mission to help youth permanent families to have the support system they need to live safely and to their highest potential. They believe that no child should leave the foster care system without a lifelong support network in place. Please join me in welcoming the Executive Director of You Gotta Believe, Jennifer Pinder. Jennifer, thank you for being here with us.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, now of course a very important mission that we're going to get into, but talk to me a little bit about You Gotta Believe, its mission, and its belief.
Sure. Yeah, so we were founded almost 30 years ago. We turned 30 in July. And so we were founded because there was this acknowledgement that so many youth who were aging out of foster care without family were ending up homeless. So initially it was a strategy to eliminate homelessness amongst youth who were aging out of the foster care system, and the solution was to give them a family. So not only do they actually get a home, they get one or two parents that will support them for the rest of their lives.
Wow, and of course with that 30-year, like you mentioned, this milestone in a sense, and that commitment to helping, find permanent families for older youth in foster care.
Right.
What does this milestone mean to the organization, to what you've been doing?
It's an acknowledgement of the hard work that everyone that's ever worked at You Gotta Believe has done. It's an acknowledgement of the commitment of the youth who have trusted us to work with them. It's an acknowledgement of the commitment that our parents have made over these last 30 years. And then just celebrating the existence of all the families that we've formed. It's over 400 families we've created through the hard work that we've done over those 30 years.
Yeah, and when we talk about this group as well, that is sometimes overlooked in the adoption system, why is it more important than ever to raise awareness of the need for them to have a happy and very well, kind of safe space to have in a family?
That's right. As you mentioned, unfortunately, it is a population that's often forgotten about. I'm an adoptee myself, but I was placed as a baby. And a lot of people, when they think about adoption, they think about baby adoption. But there are youth, for reasons that are not their fault, that they lose their parents. It may be through incarceration, through death, but it's never the youth's fault. And so that's why it's so important to focus on finding families for this population. Oftentimes the focus is to push those youth towards independent living, which I know a lot of youth, that is an exciting option for them, but what we need for them is to have a lifelong support through family. And so not just parents, you also get your extended family along with that, and then the support that they need through, when you think about the support that you get from your family, I have the luxury of having parents, it's celebrating birthdays, it's celebrating holidays. Like, where do you go when you're celebrating these things? When you need advice, when you need some money, even I'm a woman of a certain age, I still call my parents for advice, for financial support. Just called my dad to help me fix my toilet. These are the things that we forget about, what we need our parents for.
Yeah, and when we talk about this group as well, the older youth, what does that age range kind of look like?
Exactly. So our focus is on 10 and up. And the reason for that is because that's the age at which point adoptions tend to drop off precipitously. A lot of times teenagers are seen as problematic, and that's just not the case. These are really good kids that deserve all the good things that a family can provide. And so that's why we tend to focus on that group, because a lot of other agencies are not focusing on older youth.
Yeah, now of course, reading through kind of your focus and how you kind of are able to reach out to these different communities, something that stood out to me is your unique approach of using credible messengers.
That's right.
Can you break that down a little bit for us?
Absolutely. So the overwhelming majority of our amazing team at You Gotta Believe are credible messengers. And so what that means is that they have a direct personal connection to the mission. Like I mentioned, I'm an adoptee, so that's my personal connection to the mission. We also have people on staff who have been through the child welfare system. They've experienced all the negative parts of the child welfare system that exist, unfortunately. Some of them have aged out of foster care. Some of them have been adopted at older age. So that allows them to deliver services on a highly specialized level, because they've been through it and they know what the youth have been through, and they can meet the youth exactly where they are. And that then builds this extreme amount of trust between the youth and our staff. We also have a number of staff who are parents who are adopted from the foster care system. So when we're training our parents, that training is being delivered by people who've walked the walk and talked the talk.
Yeah, and when you talk about obviously even preparing these parents who want to be a part of, kind of providing the safe space and happy space for these older youth, What does that training kind of look like and these opportunities for them to learn?
Right, exactly. One of the first things that I did when I came to You Gotta Believe was to take that training because I wanted to really understand what the parent experience was. So it is a 10-week, 30-hour training that is required by the state, actually, but it's facilitated by our staff. And, you know, we've had parents in our training who have already had biological children who insist that every parent, no matter how they become a parent, should take this training. So there's a special layer of our training that's trauma informed. So that helps our parents to be prepared to accept youth into our home who have experienced trauma through the child welfare system and to be able to support them through that. And another layer of it too is to help our prospective parents to acknowledge anything from their childhood that may inform the way that they parent their youth. So it's a really robust training.
When we talk about these services, even training opportunities at that, something else that I found unique was this adoption competent therapy
That's right.
Opportunity. Talk to me about what kind of makes this therapy different from the other ones that we hear out there.
Yes, so we're really excited about this program that we launched just about 3 years ago. So our clinical director, Emily Collins, is the brainchild of this program. She noticed that our families and our youth were in need of this specialized mental health therapy. And I have, again, my personal connection comes in too, because I've been in therapy for years and highly accomplished therapist, but when I would talk to my therapist about situations related to my being adopted, they just were not qualified to treat me, you know, in that space. And I then went to an adoption competent therapist and it was life changing. And so I've received that specialized therapy. And so now that we're in a position to deliver that service to our families, it's really changed everything about our service delivery in a positive way. And what's so important about this is that the whole family is the client for therapy. It's not about just throwing the kid into therapy. Sometimes those sessions are just for the parent or the parents, you know, when they may uncover some issues that they're dealing with that are preventing them from being the best parents they can be. We take them to the side at times, and sometimes it's only the youth, sometimes it's the entire family. And the best part about it, I think, is that there's no charge for this therapy, which oftentimes can cost upwards of $200 to $300 an hour. So it's about providing that access to the service that our youth and families deserve.
Now, of course, when people think about adoption, they think it ends at the paperwork.
Right.
But You Gotta Believe says no otherwise, right?
That's right.
And so when you talk about even kind of creating these spaces and for families, resources, how does YGB kind of continue their services throughout the person's life?
Yeah, while we do walk with the youth and the parents to the point of adoption, as you said, that's really just the beginning for us. And so what we call our secret sauce is our post-placement support. So part of that is the therapy. Part of that may be just a one-off phone call in the middle of the night where there may be an issue that arises. Our team really works around the clock, and that support is available for as long as the family needs us. So it may be 5-10 years down the line, we're available. And again, all of these services are complimentary. And another piece of that support is that we create community. So we have parent support groups. We just had a family event the other day where it's just about gathering and building community and building these supports amongst our parents and our youth. A lot of these youth who have been adopted don't know any other kids who were adopted from foster care. So now they're able to make friends and they have somebody they can relate to. And they start, you know, they create these babysitting opportunities, the parents, you know, so now they're watching each other kids. So it's really beautiful to witness.
Yeah, when you talk about that beautiful component as well, how does it feel from this perspective and see them building this community, whether it is parents who are meeting other parents who have gone through the process or even the kids themselves?
It's really heartwarming, and it's good to see that no one has to go through this journey by themselves because it can be intimidating. And so that's why it's so important for us to create these support systems so that no one is walking through this by themselves.
Yeah, now you were mentioning to me as well before, you are wearing blue for a very special reason. Talk to me about that.
So May is Foster Care Awareness Month, and blue is the official color. May is also Mental Health Awareness Month. So both of these are important threads in the work that we do.
Yeah. Now, of course, as we continue to talk about, obviously, the journey that you're on and what you're able to do, for people who may be watching and are interested, parents, families, about being a part of this system, what would you tell them?
Yeah, I would say go to our website, yougottobelieve.org. You know, there's a lot of information to uncover there. And I would say that there's no pressure to dive directly into becoming a parent. You can do research. You feel free to reach out to us for questions. We can put you in touch with other parents that have been through it. So there's a lot of steps that you can take before becoming fully involved or taking that step to becoming a parent.
Yeah, now I know for You Gotta Believe, in order to continue kind of its mission, there is a big component of partnerships.
That's
and
right.
On the website, there was a focus about the New York City Council and
That's
how they
right.
play a part in it. Talk to me about that.
Yes, absolutely. So New York City Council has been a critical part of our support for almost 10 years. So they've supported us through discretionary funding, through partnerships with a number of council members throughout the city. They've helped us get the word out. They've put information about our organization in their newsletters. They've really helped. There's some legislation that's in really support of helping foster youth. So they've been very beneficial to our success, and they're the only public funding that we receive. So it's been huge and critical to have that type of support from the New York City Council.
Yeah, now of course, 30 years, such a big milestone.
Yeah.
When you look ahead to the next 30 years,
Right.
Jennifer, what does that vision kind of look like?
Yeah, so we've remained committed to the mission from the very beginning. So it's maintaining that commitment, and then we really just want to continue to deepen our impact and create more families and work with more youth and really help more people to understand and spread awareness of it really is a crisis of these youth that are being left behind, and reminding youth that they are worth family, they are worth love, that there are people advocating for them and fighting for them, and that we will continue to do that. And honestly, our goal is to go out of business, and that every kid has a family and no one needs us anymore, but until that becomes reality, we'll keep working.
Yeah, now of course, as we kind of wrap up everything, I loved your message even to families who are considering something like this. What would be your message as well to the older youth who may sometimes feel ostracized
Right.
or are in this
Yeah.
process?
And I would say, again, they are worthy, and to not believe what the world is telling them, that, they are not a stigma, they are important, that we need them, and they deserve to be poured into, they deserve to be loved, that we are always here for them, and that we're rooting for them, and that we know it's hard, and we're here to do everything we can to make it easier and give them the love and the families they deserve.
Wow, that is incredible. And I mean, Jennifer, thank you so much for even kind of, again, sharing all these gems with us, dropping all this knowledge as well. And you know what? We will be putting on our blue today as well. So thank you
Perfect.
so much for that.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, with that as well, if you want to learn more, please visit their website at yougotabelieve.org. Stay tuned. We have more open for you right after this.